Okay, it's a little bit after 1 o'clock, and we will go ahead and get started. So, first of all, thank you for everybody's time and welcome to our webinar, Optimizing Service Processes, Enabling Uptime and Efficiency, which is hosted by us at Circuitry.ai. My name is Mike Wohlert. I am the Digital Marketing Manager here at Circuitry.ai, and I am the moderator today for the webinar. This webinar is being recorded, and the recording and presentation content will be made available to you after the webinar. All attendees are muted during the webinar, but you can post questions anytime using our question panel in the Zoom widget or even the chat. Today's agenda, we will be discussing from the service leader's perspective, particularly in the manufacturing realm, and give some examples of how a service advisor could solve some of the common problems. We'll give some brief demos, and we'll have about 15 minutes for audience question and answer after the presentations. And before I get started, I just would like to let you know we'd like to invite you to join a free proof of value program to experience how Service Advisor will transform your service operations. In 30 days, you'll see how Service Advisor will boost your organizational efficiency, bridge your workforce gaps, and improve your first-time fix rates. So with that said, I am excited to invite our expert host, Mark Hessinger. He is a global services business advisor, and he will be presenting and sharing his insights. And he will be sharing his insights throughout. And Mark, I would like to go ahead and invite you to speak.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. And thanks for those for joining. Today, we're going to talk about service perspective, and going to focus on 3 areas where we can enhance our services processes, focused on our service employees, so that we can improve our organizational efficiency, address workforce gaps and onboarding, and improving metrics, KPIs, such as first-time resolution, first-time call rates. All right, here we have in manufacturing, there's a lot of different areas in manufacturing, but there's a lot of similarities. And in the middle, we talk about the life cycle touch points. Order is placed with your organization. You'll onboard a customer and go through these different steps of delivering, installing, getting the system up and operating, and then supporting over the life cycle of the product. Interfacing with the customer, there's lots of stakeholders, decision makers, operators, and people in the organization. And your organization has a lot of people that are interfacing with those counterparts. And your functions may be done by your own company, or they could be done through a partner or dealer network of yours. One of the benefits we'll also gain by making sure that we're doing things more consistently is the communications across the stakeholders will be more consistent from your company to them, reducing any confusion, but making sure that you're explaining exactly how to move forward in the life cycle of using the product in the most efficient way. Okay. We have, and when we design our services, organizations develop different areas of knowledge, as far as there's a service manual, there's training information, it could be a training manual, it could be videos. A lot of companies are using AR, VR now for training, and short video snippets. And all of these pieces of information are often scattered. They are not connected. And as we go through the life cycle, we're gaining more information about the customer. We're taking notes in cases and work orders. We're going through. And what I've heard over time, I've attended many conferences and talked to peers, things like the Service Council, WBR, IQPC, customer experience conferences. The knowledge collection is not connected, and making sure the right information is accessed by the appropriate person at the right time in an efficient manner. That doesn't happen in a lot of organizations. Using a tool such as AI, you can connect these sources and present the most relevant information to the user at the right point in time. That brings us to our first point, which is how to enhance the organization efficiency. That we have these different pieces of knowledge captured in different areas. Using a tool such as AI connects them. And then it's not just finding the right information, but finding the right section of the information. For example, in a training video, can index to the appropriate spot in the training video, in the document to the right diagram, the right information. This can save both your tech support in the call center and your field service engineers considerable time. So we're going to take a short pause from the slides, and Drew, the solutions expert, will give a short demo on how the Circuitry.ai can be used.
Amazing. Thank you, Mark. I'm going to share my screen here. Perfect. Yeah, so very similar to what Mark has said. The goal, at the end of the day is we want to be able to ingest as much of your knowledge as possible and be able to bring that in and be able to surface that back to you at a very specific time. So within our platform, on the left hand, if we go into the knowledge source here, what you'll see is that we're able to ingest multiple different types of data, whether it be a YouTube video, a URL link, a PDF, MP3 audio, or even a MP4 video. So, and multiple different types, or even if we're ingesting within from your system and we want to integrate within, we can bring all of that in because we want to be able to leverage all this knowledge and surface it back to your end users in the most effective way. Now let's dive into that and see that live. All right. So right here we have a HVAC advisor here, and this could be leveraged whether it be an expanded internal tool or even in a widget format as well. And we want to be able to enable your end user, whether that be a technician or even a internal end or external end user that's trying to accomplish something on their own. So if we start off right here, let's say we're looking to install that HVAC mini split, and they just don't have an idea on how to do that wiring for that indoor unit. So they can go ahead and type that into the advisor. And what you'll see is we're able to look within the knowledge source. The AI is trained on all of that. And number one, you're able to see that we're in writing able to share exactly where it is. So the ground wire is connected to the ground terminal on the indoor unit, and it's marked with a GND. But not only that, we're able to surface up images within, and these are all coming from within the knowledge source as well. So here, if I take a look and I click on this, this is the actual PDF and knowledge that the AI ingested, and it's able to surface back. But if you take a look carefully, we're only showing the one specific page that the question and the ground wire is associated to versus the 100 of pages that the manual normally has. Now, to take it a step further, we're able to also surface up YouTube videos once this ad is done, and not more specifically, not just the entire YouTube video, but exactly where, if you take a look at this, 2 minutes and 36 seconds to where the ground wire is actually located so that they can reference that as well. So again, what we're doing is we're taking a look at text, images, and videos, even audio files. So every step of the way, we're guiding them along to increase fixed rates and accuracy as well. So back to you, Mark. Sorry. Of
Thank you, Drew.
course.
So back to the slides. I want to make a connection here. So as we're talking about how do we improve things for our employees, a lot of companies focus on business processes, then they focus on customer experience. If we focus on the employee experience, they'll have a positive connection correlation to the customer experience, and overall everything has a good momentum forward. So we're going to, in these examples, in the first one and the next one, we're looking at how do we improve things for the employee. And I'd like to reference here some information from the Service Council. If you're not familiar with the Service Council, the URL is on the bottom, and it's a great place to share information. But they do a Voice of Field Service Engineers survey and have over 10,000 inputs into their survey. And this specific question that I'm referring to here is asking the field engineer, what is the least favorite part of their day-to-day work? And some of the top hitters you can see there, but time spent looking for info. And as Drew showed before, and you'll see again briefly, the amount of time that we can save in every case, in every work order, doing things that are, you could consider wasteful time for our employees is dramatically reduced or eliminated, and that improves the employee experience. We put our employees under a lot of pressure to work faster, get more jobs done in a week, get more customers visited, and they're also commenting that their work hours are too high. So if we can take things out of their space that they really don't add value. If you're looking at things from a lean perspective, the value add of our technical support and our field engineers is working with customers, improving the quality of the asset, making sure that the assets they've purchased are running. The non-value add time, but important, is things like travel. And waste is when they're looking for things that we could really, using technology, put up in front of them much quicker. So using the technology, we're going to make the employee experience better, and it's going to drive efficiencies throughout the network and create better utilization. So we'll talk to the next point we wanted to talk to today. And we're talking today to just 3 points. There's many areas you can apply technology to improve things, but we wanted to hone in on a few things that have resonated with the field and with peers that I've talked to. And we'll talk about the next point. Okay. Onboarding employees and workforce gaps. So if we take, now the cost of a field engineer is different across industries and experience. But if we take an average of $80,000 US a year for an engineer, and then you add benefits and you add a car or a van and travel, you're approaching $120K a year, which is about $10,000 a month that you're investing in a field engineer. I've heard many different answers on how long does it take to get a field engineer up to speed that they can independently work in the field. Anything from 3 months to 12 months, some say even longer if the systems are highly complex. But we need to be thinking on how do we train our engineers differently? How do we get them up to speed quicker and get them so that they can be working at customers and that they feel comfortable working at customers on their own. So the training approach, everybody learns differently, but by providing snippets of training instead of large classes, sometimes is beneficial. So you can train in class the theory of operation, all the safety, some common things that happen, but all of the procedures, to try to cover them all in class training is difficult, and they won't be accessed or needed by the employee for some time. So giving them the ability to self-train by using tools that can pull up relevant information, or to refresh before going on to a customer, or when on a customer, being able to call the information is very beneficial. It gives the employee confidence. When they're on site, typically they'll want to call their buddy in the field, but that person is typically working at another customer or reaching out to tech support, which the right resource may or may not be available. So by having an AI advisor that's available 24/7, it gives a little more confidence in the employee that they have resources that they can quickly access to find. And we're going to have another short demonstration by Drew on how this can apply to employees.
So as Mark has mentioned, the biggest issue with onboarding is the amount of information that everyone has to take in, and not only just take in, but memorize and be able to recall that during live fixes or when they're on the field trying to accomplish something. And that leads to either not a first-time fix rates, they have to go back and get more parts and have to come back. Or secondly, like Mark mentioned, they may do it wrong. And that leads to a lot more financial issues than anything. So our goal is to really enable the users anywhere they're at, the field technicians anywhere that they're at, and be able to recall that. So for example here, if the field tech is on the field and they get an E4 error, and they know all the error codes except for that one, what does that mean? They can easily ask the AI advisor, hey, I'm getting an E4 error. I don't know what that means. What is it sharing? So again, the E4 is indicating an AC cooling system abnormality. Not only is it sharing what it is, but it's also giving a diagram of what it needs to check, what he needs to check, if it's following a yes or no. Again, we're pulling them directly from the knowledge source. So he doesn't have to call his buddy. He doesn't have to go back. He can ask that question right then and there and understand what it is. Not only that, he can, if he doesn't know how to fix it, how do I fix this? All he has to do is ask the advisor, hey, I know what this is now. How do I go about fixing it? What tools do I need? What's the actual problem? Right, and this right here can say the two-way and the three-way valve is not blocked, more than likely unblock it, and refer to the troubleshooting section of the piece. So you can start getting step-by-step instructions on how to be able to, number one, figure out what it is, but also how to fix it. Now, if we can take it a step further, sometimes an individual may know how to fix it, but just needs some level of guidance. So they know what the machine is, they know what the error code is, but they want a layout diagram that shows exactly how the wiring is done. Now, instead of having to flip through hundreds and hundreds of pages to find the right diagram, they're able to put in the model code and ask for the actual wiring diagram, and then be able to fix it live. A huge key piece of onboarding and training is the ride-alongs that happen during. And that is what really takes that 3 to 6 months, 12 months of onboarding. What we're able to do is not only surface up that information, but bring in that tribal knowledge that Mark was talking about. So we have a feature called Expert Answers. So an expert might see this step-by-step instructions and think, you know what, actually, 1 through 4 is good, but you can just take out step number 2 because it's irrelevant. Now, instead of having to send 3 to 6 months to find out that information, now the next time the AI is trained on it and the same question is asked, step 2 will be erased and a lot more efficient work is being able to accomplish. And again, the novice technician is onboarded successfully. Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thanks again, Drew. So metrics There's a lot of metrics in service, and a couple that are important, and they connect also to the employee experience, or the first time fix rates, whether it's first call resolution in the tech support area or first time fix in the field. And that has an impact. If you're a customer and you have a problem, someone comes and resolves it, and then they leave, or you've concluded the call with them and feel it's resolved, and then it reoccurs, it's frustrating. It impacts your productivity as the customer, and also the employee. Employee never feels good if they have to go back. They're called a few days after they were on site and say, no, you got to go back to that customer. The problem reoccurred. So we want to make sure that we're setting up our organization to be in the best position to solve problems the first time. So as we mentioned earlier, with knowledge being distributed in different places, and we want to make sure that our employees have the best information, the most current approved information to be able to work on their systems. Using a tool such as AI can make sure we're again putting the relevant information in the hands of both the call center, the tech support people, so that they can potentially resolve the call remotely correctly. And if we do need to dispatch a field engineer, that everything has been set up and they have all the correct information so they can resolve also the first time. So by improving these metrics, we'll improve the customer experience and the employee experience. And we'll take another view, and it's important as you put this information to your organization, you'll see you want to be also able to use the device or method that the employees are accessing information to be efficient in how they see it. So Drew, let you take another short demo.
Loving this tag team here, Mark. Perfect. So first time fixed rates, as Mark mentioned, it really doesn't start at the field. It starts long before. It starts at the actual point of contact, where the contact center agents are receiving that issue, that ticket, and either don't know how to fix it because they haven't been enabled, like we mentioned, or they're giving just very high information, don't know what parts are needed for the dealers. So we want to be able to attack that right from the beginning. And the way we're able to do that is by giving you that level of surfacing. Sorry, 1 second here. All right. Be able to surface our advisor at any step of the way. So here we have our extension that the contact center agents will be able to use, whether they want to make it full screen, side screen, they can size it any way possible. So they don't have to switch back and forth between a completely different application. They can do it side by side, reducing that time to resolution. So in this case, we take a look at this PO error that the individual is getting. As it loads up, what you'll notice is it automatically pulled in that ticket description. Not only are we able to pull in the ticket description, but if there are any parts number or history that we need to pull in, we're able to pull all of that information in, which maybe a novice may forget, someone that's onboarding may forget to pull in that vital information, which actually leads to that right answer or the wrong answer when it comes to sending the right parts. So in this case, the unit is giving a P0 error. It's shutting off what parts are needed and what's the actual solution. So here the advisor is able to not only give and share what parts are needed. So in this case, a ODU, a PCB compressor, but also how to go about fixing that. And what the individual is able to do is go ahead and copy this into the actual ticket resolution and send it out to the actual field service agent. So when they're pulling it up, they have full information on what the problem was, what parts are needed, especially when it comes to a dealer perspective. If that knowledge source is not normalized across the dealers, they're able to see that utilizing our advisor. And then once the parts are correct, they can then dispatch a actual field service agent who then, as I mentioned, we're We want to be able to surface our advisor and give them access to it anywhere. So in this case, as the individuals on the field, they probably won't have access to a computer. They won't have access to the hundreds of pages of PDFs. They can open it up on our app on their mobile and start utilizing it. So we can start off maybe by saying, hey, how can I identify and fix a short cycle in the issue for the HVAC? If they've forgotten or if they just want a better reference, then it'll address it. Again, not only will it address the actual answer, but it will also give the knowledge source and the page number that's associated with it if they want to refer back to any diagrams or any other detailed information. We can also take it a step further and utilize the hands-free functionality here by speaking into it and be able to leverage that aspects of things as well. So they can speak because they may not be able to utilize their hands, so they can have that conversation and it read it back to them as well. So back to you, Mark.
Thank you. I think Tony Stark won't need your van or car, but probably needs other power packs to get his work done.
Exactly.
All right. So I want to connect some of the dots here and talk a little more about the feedback from the field. So our field technicians, what they like to do is what they're employed to do: solve problems, work with customers. What they like least is spending time looking for things and finding things to do their work. They are more and more challenged. The types of systems that are coming out, the technology keeps advancing, so they're more complex. They're tougher to service. There's more to learn, let's put it that way. And they are open to leveraging technology. However, they want technology that helps them do their work. If it's just technology for technology's sake, you probably get pushback. They have to see what the value is and how it's going to help them do their day-to-day work. So on the survey from the Service Council, so one of the questions, and the one we have listed here, is asking the field engineers what type of capabilities are currently not available, but would be very valuable to help them in doing their job. And the number one answer is live troubleshooting steps by artificial intelligence tools. So they're asking, they know this technology is available. It's becoming more and more prevalent in our daily lives on using this type of technology, and they'd like access to such technology to help them do their job. Things like, number three, live video. So as we mentioned a couple times, in training, we have a lot of videos we captured in repair and replace procedures. Companies are using more and more videos. So to be able to access the right point in those videos, leveraging technology like this helps them as well. It gives them quick access to the right information to be able to serve the customer. Things like point 5, pre-visit review. In some industries, the service engineers are doing maybe one visit a day, but in others, they're doing multiple visits a day. And then additional dispatches will get dropped in that they need to go because a customer's down. And like was shown before, you can access, there's voice control also. So imagine you're now, instead of sitting down and taking a break and trying to research what you have to do with the next customer, you could actually have a dialogue with your AI assistant as you're driving to your next customer to understand what the issue is, what's the most common cause, get the procedures queued up for you, look at the history, understand who was there last. So it's having a dialogue with a companion that'll help prepare you for that visit. So the applications, like we said in the beginning, we're not trying to talk today about all the different places you can use AI, but pick a few examples that resonate with issues that the field is seeing and they would like help with, and that service leaders can also get benefit, that they're going to improve the employee experience, the customer experience, and their overall business processes. On the next slide, just take a look, recapping those blue dots, just representing different places of knowledge and information by connecting them through an AI tool. I think we've talked quite a bit today how that can benefit your organization. In the 3 different examples, they also provide ways to measure the output and the gains you're going to get. So you can use those, one, to justify a return on investment that you're expecting to get. So for example, in the first example, we could look at what's the mean time to repair certain equipment in the field, and you can compare with using the AI tools against without using it. You should see those numbers improve. You can measure total overtime hours, see if that comes down because you're making your engineers more efficient. On the second example, you can measure your onboarding time, on how much time it takes until you can send that new employee to the field. And on the last example, we can look at the first call resolution and first time fix rates and how they're impacted by using the tool. So these types of metrics are good because you can, they're hard metrics you can measure to say, this is what I'm expecting, and then measure after implementation to see if you're achieving what you expected. I'll now pass to Nate, product manager, who will talk more specific about ROI with the circuitry tool. And then we'll come back for any questions. So if you have any questions, like Mike said at the beginning, feel free. If you haven't added any, feel free to put them in the Q&A area. So Nate, turn over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Just want to speak to some more examples of how circuitry provides really immediate ROI for our customers. It starts with fast implementation, right? So the setup and getting going with our product couldn't be easier. And what you saw in the demos from Dhruv is something that can be set up very quickly within a day, typically. And that's going to allow you and your team to start using the product immediately and see ROI definitely within that first month. We also offer a proof of value program, a 30-day proof of value program that we can talk about closer to the end. This is another way that we'll work with you, help you get set up, and show you and your team the value of the service as quickly as possible. And once you start using our tools, you'll start to see productivity improvements, right? Improved productivity, 35%, 45% faster average handling time, right? Fewer people getting involved, fewer touches, more efficient processing, 25% reduced cost to serve, right? These are massive productivity enhancements, as well as it goes hand in hand with improved service outcomes, right? So if you're struggling with accuracy and service resolutions, using our tool, you'll see 95% plus accuracy in service resolutions, 10 to 20% improved product uptime, 60 to 90% improvements in first-time fix rate, which Mark talked a lot about first-time fix rate and how that is a definite cost killer. And then on the operational side, you'll see a lot of efficiency from 35% lower support staffing costs, less overtime, 50% lower service employee training costs, and 20% lower costs to really enable a global workforce, right? A service like what we offer is really global and scalable in its essence. The bottom line is combined effect, more productivity, less repeat fixes, 4 to 12 hours saved per month per technician, which will equate to around $400 to $1,200 per tech per month. That's the kind of efficiency and productivity and end of the day cost savings that you can expect to see. So now why don't we jump to the Q&A? Feel free to submit your questions at this time, but let's Mike, why don't you take it away? Start us off with the first question that we have here.
Yep, appreciate it. And Mark and Nate, thanks for all of your insights and the information. So, with our first question, Mark, this will be for you. Um, why shouldn't I just try to build a system like this with my internal development team versus buying or implementing a tool like something that Circuitry.ai offers?
All right, thank you. So the build or buy question, I'm going to give you the reasons why I think buy is the right answer. I'll first give an example. When I introduced IoT years ago, I started working with the build concept, working with engineering, and the struggle I had was product management had their roadmap and their priorities, and we were not the high priority, and it just moved very slow. And we also found as we needed to do things that were industry norms and stuff, it was easier to eventually go with a buy solution because you could demonstrate they had all the right norms and had proven the security and everything. The similar thing applies in an AI solution. One is your return on investment, because you don't have to assemble a team and develop the tool and test it and then deploy it. You have a tool, if you buy the tool, that you can directly deploy and start getting your ROI. And in an industry like AI, where things are now changing quite quickly, and the industry's been around longer than I've been around, just now that there's a lot of supporting capabilities with computer power and everything, it's really moving fast now. I'd rather have a company that wakes up every morning with wanting to make sure that their customers are happy and effective using the tool, and that they're looking on how to extend the capabilities of a tool and keep building out what can be used with the technology. So I think you'll get to your ROI faster, plus the continued development will be much richer in the buy scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree, Mark. Just to build on that, I think since we have the expertise in building out AI systems, we know how complex it is to build out these systems, how important it is to stay ahead of the curve in terms of making architectural decisions and really trying to stay on top of the latest and greatest advances in the AI space. And we've also seen, obviously there's a lot of hype around AI and tons of companies are trying to implement AI systems internally, but there's quite a high failure rate for internal builds, upwards of 80% failure rates. So it's very challenging, and just building out the business case and bringing something to market takes also a lot of time. By the time you build something internally and bring it to market, you could be completely obsolete. So there's a lot of challenges with building internally for sure.
Great. Thanks for that. Nate, this question is for you. And if Mark, there's anything you want to chime in at the end, that's fine. But how fast and what are the components of getting ROI out of your AI or out of this circuitry system?
Yeah, I would say our system helps you really achieve ROI quickly by driving time savings, reducing transactional costs, increasing first-time fix rates, thanks to our AI-powered diagnostics and guidance, which allows technicians to resolve issues on the first visit, reduce repeat visits, improve customer satisfaction. This improvement, these kind of things, they means that you start seeing ROI within the first month, right? As labor costs decrease and service capacity grows without the need for additional staff. Over the course of the first year that you're using it, you'll really start to see that ROI pile up. And in addition, by automating routine tasks, Service Advisor really helps boost technician productivity while lowering the cost of each service interaction. And, the combination of faster repairs, higher productivity, reduced costs, quickly just makes that ROI number go up through the roof. You'll see improved productivity, reduced expenses, and at the end of the day, enhanced customer loyalty as well.
And I'll just add that, those examples that Nate gave and what I talked to earlier, I think it's important always to use those types of metrics, things that you can measure. There's broader things like, customer retention, NPS scores, and all those things, but that they're impacted by so many things. They will have a positive impact from this, but keep your ROI focused on the ones that you can actually measure and demonstrate, so you can show your leadership, yep, we made a great decision and we're making great progress.
Excellent. Thank you. With number 3, how do you ensure that the technicians will actually adopt and use this? So whenever someone says, "Hey, we're adopting a new piece of software," or, sometimes you get some eye rolls and like, "Oh my God, another thing to learn." So how can we ensure that the technicians will actually adopt and use the technology? Nate.
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, first of all, we take a lot of pride in our user experience, and we spend a lot of time and energy to really craft a modern user experience with all the best practices that you probably have come to expect from using other popular tools online. So we try to, really work hard to make our tools very intuitive. And that being said, the easiest tool to learn is something where you don't really need to learn much at all, right? So, you don't want to spend a lot of time learning a new tool. You want it to be as intuitive as possible. We've designed our system to slot in with your existing system so it fits in right where you work naturally. We can integrate with your text-based systems, your WhatsApp, your Teams channel. We have a mobile app and also a Chrome extension that can sit on the side of a web page so that you can work in the browser as normal with the Chrome extension sitting on the side. We can connect with your CRM system or any databases that you have seamlessly. We're hoping that it can become an invaluable tool that new employees use from day one to help get up to speed from a training perspective. You try it out, you grow as an employee with the tool because it's been an invaluable knowledge resource for you since your first day at the company. And for veterans, a great time saver. They might be tired of calling into tech support numbers and waiting on hold. Now they have access to an advisor available 24/7 with great answers, things like that. So no more combing through long manuals, searching for multiple people to talk to, no more lag time to get answers. You get answers right on your mobile phone, voice mode, hands-free, multiple language support. It's a tool anyone can use, all sorts of flexible situations. On top of that, managers will want to use this tool. Admins will want to use this tool because you can get a lot of insights from the dashboard to see from an analytical perspective who's been using it. Look to incentivize your employees to use it more and see how users are using it so that you can stay ahead of trends and achieve improved KPIs like better first-time fix rates.
And I'll just add to that. So if you to ensure usage, one is during the selection and setup, involve your field. Find a couple of those people in the field that the general field look up to, and that if they say this is good, they're going to say, okay, that person says it's good, it's good, we can use it, because there's advocates out there that can help you move things forward. Change management, implementing a technology like this is very important. I implemented AI a number of years ago, and the thing I learned was when you start with AI, everybody has a different perception on what you're expecting to get out of it. So make sure your explanations are clear and you're setting the expectations and educating your organization what you're going to achieve and what you're expecting to do with the tool. good change management, and it's easy to deploy, easy to use, and then you'll be successful.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question. Again, Nate, how does this particular knowledge application fit in with my CRM, my other, my a current field system management system, and then where else can I use it, like text or mobile apps or anything like that? So how does the knowledge application fit in with my current systems?
Yeah, and in a word, seamlessly. We've set up our system to be able to integrate with any number of external data sources for both input and output. And it's something that, when we get to know you, the customer, during the POV, proof of value process, we'll get to know how your employees work, what kind of systems that they use on a day-to-day basis. We'll learn where they live and be able to design our implementation on top of and within those current systems. So it's a true augmentative type of system. And so, that's why we definitely take pains to involve a wide variety of your team during that POV process. So not only you can get to know our systems, but we can get to know your systems, and we can get to know how people are using your systems and get buy-in from your team up and down the line.
And we do actually have a question. We have another question that came in live through our Q&A widget. So real quick, I see the benefits for new and inexperienced engineers from the tool, but only them benefiting from the tool won't bring the 35% savings estimated. So how can experienced field engineers benefit from this tool?
Start with that. It's my last place I worked was 3D Systems, and I was told this person, that person, they're the experts. They know everything. They don't need anything. And then set up chat groups by technology, and you'll see even your experts are asking questions. Depending on how broad your product portfolio is, there's a lot of things they need to know and be able to do. And not every issue comes up every day. So one, getting to information quicker, which we talked about a few times, will benefit everybody in the organization. Yes, it will benefit to a higher level those with less experience. I agree with that. But even the experienced people, if they can recall something quicker by using the tool, they'll gain some benefit as well.
Yeah, a lot of times those experienced people are taking a lot of time out of their day to do training to new employees. And there's also all sorts of new products that are always coming down the line. So it can be hard for anyone, new or old, to keep up with the pace of change. So, what's nice about the way we've designed our system is that veterans can stay up to date, and they can free up more of their time to do the problem solving work instead of answering questions from novices. And they can even input their own expert answers right into the system and contribute to tribal knowledge that becomes an invaluable part of the knowledge source for posterity, which again is a reinforcing way of helping new users to the system to get trained up. So, a lot of times these veteran workers too are on the brink of retirement, and so we've seen lots of companies suffering from what they term as brain drain. And so, you as a company really want to try to get ahead of that and not be playing catch up when maybe a mass retirement event happens in your company.
Great. Thanks for that question. That was a really good one. And it looks like lastly we have this final, just is there a way to try this out and just to see if this is going to be a fit or bringing value? And I think that's going to bring up our proof of value. So Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, so we've alluded to the POV program. Actually, that's the next slide. So why don't we move to that slide and I can answer that question. So yeah, we have this POV program that we would invite anyone who has interest to reach out to us to discuss more. But basically, it's a program where you can try out the product. We'll set you up with a white glove experience so that you and your team can dive in and clearly see the value with minimal time spend and minimal risk for your side. It's a highly structured program. Basically, we follow a long checklist. So you and your team can try out every single feature. It'll be customized to your unique use cases to help you solve real world business problems. And we want you to try it out so that it feels real to you. Get your veterans and new users alike to try it and see the value for one and all. It's a free program, 30-day program that includes initial data loads, onboarding, some standard integrations, and yeah, that's basically the sum of the POV program. But what we also have on this slide is a little bit more information about how pricing would work. So we're offering our POV customers 50% off subscription fees for the first 3 months after the POV ends, and a tiered volume-based subscription pricing model. And for our partners, we have preferred pricing, a dedicated CSM, roadmap prioritization for the features that you are asking for, and premium support, of course. So yeah, we definitely encourage anyone that's interested to reach out. We have the contact information actually on the next slide. So reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And we can discuss next steps and setting up a POV program for you and your org.
Yep. Thanks, Nate. But yeah, at this point that'll conclude our session. Here, we'd like you to be at the forefront of change to improve your service delivery. So on here, info@circuitry.ai, if you'd like to contact us to learn more about Service Advisor and how you can improve productivity, product uptime, and customer experience. Also, we are going to be at Field Service Connect from November 18th to the 20th. So we hope to see you at Field Service Connect. And please let us know if you'd like to start with our POV program to that proof of value. We'd love to help you get started and really show you that within that 30 days, we really can really deliver on these metrics for you. So with that said, thank you all for attending our learning session. That concludes the presentation. Be on the lookout for the recording and the content. And
one more slide there, Mike. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if
so like I
if
said,
you want to meet us in person, we'll
Yeah.
we'll be at the Field Service Connect event in Austin, Texas from November 18th to 20th. We'd love to sync up in person and give you a live demo and connect in other ways as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate. But yeah, thank you all for attending. Be on the lookout for the content and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.